Well, good morning, everybody. I'm out here just doing a quick sorting of some more potatoes. I've got a couple of injured ones that I'm putting in a smaller tote underneath the table here. And these guys are going to go, they're going to go into the root cellar. I took you there yesterday, so I don't have to do that again today. That one's damaged. That'll go to the kitchen. I'll just quick bundle these up and get them out of here to make room for new ones. This is a small one, so I'll put that underneath to go to the kitchen. Just get these done real quick. Got a lot of work to do today. A lot of stuff to talk about today also. So stay tuned for that. Today's going to be another potato digging day, and I don't really want to go into detail again just the day after about potato digging or storing again, because we talked about that yesterday. I'll probably talk about it again next year when it'll be fresh again to everybody, or maybe some new viewers. But there is something about potatoes that I did want to tell you and show you, and that is that, remember in the onion storing video where we talked about you have to have a storage onion, and then it's nice to have a really good tasting onion. The good tasting onions don't really last as long as the storage onions. Well, the same thing goes true with many vegetable varieties. And so what I wanted to say was that when it comes to storing vegetables for the long haul, like through the winter, the first step is when you order your seeds, when you're looking through the catalog or you're looking at the website online to order your seeds. Let's say, for example, you're going to order carrot seeds. You want to grow carrots, but you want to get them, so you want to store them into your whatever storage area. When you're looking in the catalog, try to find a variety that says good for storage or storage carrot. And the same thing is true in the onion world. We have storage onions and we have other onions. And also in the potato world. Right now, as of right now, I'm harvesting, I'm digging, I'm putting away a mid-season potato, which does not necessarily, ours anyway, does not necessarily last a long time in storage. Although having said that, our mid-season potato is not a good example of that, because we've had ours last into February and March. But they're usually gone by then, so it doesn't matter. But we have also a storage potato, which is called a late season potato. So you have a mid-season potato, which means that it'll come sooner, like 80 to 90 days. And then we have a late season potato. And our late season potatoes are still in the ground over there. We're going to go over there in a minute. And they're like a 110 to 120 day potato. They're going to be in the ground for that long, typically. But I'm going to pull one out to show you. And they also have an early season potato. And a lot of people have asked me, if I like potatoes so darn much, why don't I also grow an early season potato, which is like a 60 to 70 day potato? And now there's a couple reasons for that. One big reason for that we don't grow the early season potato is that it's kind of nice to just kind of take a break from potatoes for a while. So starting in May, we, for a starch, will eat more rice, that kind of a thing, as opposed to potatoes. It's just nice to kind of take a break from potatoes. So for the months of May, June, and July, we just kind of, don't eat many potatoes, if any at all. And just, take a rest from them. That way, when you do dig them again in August, they'll taste really good. and they'll be even more so special. So that's why we don't grow. Oh, the other reason why we don't grow an early season potato is because we just don't have the room. A couple of years ago, we tried to grow some fingerlings, and we did. They were fine and everything, really good French fingerlings. But we just need that space for other items, more so than we need for an early season or fingerling potato. So that's why we don't grow early season potatoes. But we do grow the mid-season and the late season. And the late season potato is our storage potato. So let's go over and have a look at those. And I'm going to show you the difference between a late season storage potato and a mid-season. Ours are a waxy potato, but not all mid-season potatoes are waxy. But we like the waxy flesh for our breakfast potatoes and the German potato salad. So let's go take a look at those late season potatoes. Let's dig one up. Let me just go over here and show you okay, that right there is the row that we dug out yesterday, an entire row. In fact, I came out here last night at around 7 o'clock and finished that row because I got way behind. So that's the first row that's done. And then for the mid-season potatoes, I still have this row to do, and I still have this row to do. This is what I'm going to be working on today. But these potatoes are our late season potatoes, and you'll notice that they're still somewhat green. They're still growing, they're still doing well. There's still a few blossoms left on them. And these will stay in the ground for another couple weeks, which is good for me to stagger these harvests because I have other things I need to get done. For example, on Tuesday we hope to be pulling out the flax, and then on Thursday and Friday I want to move the chickens to another spot, so forth and so on. But so because these harvests get staggered, it gives me a little bit of breathing space. So the late season potatoes are this row, and this last row. Now you notice we have a white stake in the ground. I'll tell you what that is. We purchase seed potato, and that's what we use to plant our potatoes with. Now if we had an acre to grow this stuff and more energy, we would probably save enough potato from our harvest to just replant. Then we wouldn't need to go buy seed potato. But we don't have that much room or that much energy. So that's one thing that we do. We just buy new seed potato, which is good because it's disease-free, certified, and all that stuff. But what I want to say here is that from that white stake down is our potato plants that were grown with purchased seed potato. And then from that white stake down this way to the left, all of those potatoes, messy as they are, all those potatoes were grown from our seed potatoes, so to speak. When we got into May of this year with our own potatoes that we grew, the late season potato, we got into May with it. After about a week, we decided, let's not eat anymore. Let's plant what we have left. So we probably put into the ground maybe 10 pounds of leftover late season potato. And that's what's over there from that white stake down that way. Potatoes that we grew from leftover. So that's kind of a neat thing. But let's go take a look at those potatoes and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I just dug out one of the mid-season potatoes fresh from the ground to show you. I'll put that right there, and now we'll get a late season potato out. I can't really guarantee any size from these because they still have a few weeks to go. But we'll dig one and see what we have, just to show you. The first thing you might notice is the color. The outside of the darker one, the skin is thinner, usually, than the lighter colored one, which is the storage potato. The other interesting thing is that when you're digging potatoes, the later season potatoes, in our case, these light colored ones, are much easier to find in the dark soil than the mid-season potato, which is the darker colored one. Okay, so next I want to show you the insides of these potatoes. I keep telling you how this mid-season potato is a waxy flesh. I don't know if you can tell that it's a waxy flesh from looking at the video. It's kind of yellowish. And this storage potato is a white potato. So maybe you can see the difference. I can from here. Maybe it'll show up in the video. So there you have it. Those are the two styles that we grow. There are many other styles. We've grown other styles throughout the years. And we've settled on these two varieties. So our storage potato is called Elba, E-L-B-A, and our mid-season potato is called Peter Wilcox, also known as Blue Gold. Sometimes you'll see it called Blue Gold in the catalogs. Because an issue has come up with regard to the compost toilet video. In that video, I was telling you how we started using peat moss for our covering medium, and we were very happy about that, and it worked really well. Well, a couple of you have brought to my attention some issues when it comes to using peat moss. And I want to talk to you about that. Well, there's more than one problem with peat moss. First of all, peat moss is it's a non-renewable resource. A few of the comments have pointed this out to me, and so I did a little bit of digging online, and I was doing some reading about it. And sure enough, yeah, it takes a long time to build up peat moss, to develop a peat moss bog, if you will. Most of the peat moss that we buy in home centers and farm stores and so forth comes from either Canada or northern United States, which is all well and good, but it takes a very long time. We're talking millennia. We're talking thousands of years. Peat moss is very important because it holds carbon, and the idea that we're taking peat moss away from its environment, no matter what you use it for, that's probably a big contributor to climate change. I have found a better medium for using in my compost toilet. And that medium is going to be the compost that we make. We have I don't feel like walking over into the sun right now, but over there, I can see it from here, is what's left of the latest compost bin that we've been working with. And I'm going to be putting what's left of that compost in pails and storing that so that when the current bag of peat moss that we have is finished, I'm going to switch over to using our compost. I think that would be the ultimate thing to cover the compost toilet with. Just use our own compost. How great would that be? So, I'm going to get back to work now. This was not a very enlightening talk, but I just wanted to touch upon that we've had comments talking about the peat moss issue, and I respect that. In fact, I really like the comments section of the channel for that reason, because we're able to get in there and exchange ideas and talk about things, and that's great. That's the primary reason why I started the channel, so that we could help each other out that way. So I want to thank you all who commented about that. It really opened my eyes, and I'm not going to buy any more peat moss for the compost toilet. I'm going to start using our own compost to cover our compost toilet output with. Okay, so thanks again, and I'm going to get back to work. Bye.